In this lesson, we are going to examine another sheet metal flange. We've already covered in earlier lessons base flange, edge flange, and miter flange. Now we're going to take a look at swept flange. However, if you look through the sheet metal ribbon, you will not find a swept flange feature. So how do we get to it? Well, one method is to go to the Insert pull-down menu, Sheet Metal, Swept Flange. But if you are going to be using this feature on a regular basis, it would be more efficient to place this feature on the sheet metal ribbon. So let's do that. I am going to select the drop-down options and then Customize. Once the dialog box opens, I'll select the Commands tab and then look for sheet metal. There's sheet metal, I'll select it, and then locate the swept flange feature, which here it is. I am going to hold down the left mouse button and drag it to the sheet metal ribbon. It's as simple as that. The best way to describe the swept flange feature is if you were to take the edge flange capabilities and the miter flange capabilities and merge them into one command, and that is swept flange. This swept flange feature is also very similar to the sweep found on the features ribbon, the swept boss base and the swept cut. Now both of these sweep features require two sketches before you activate the feature, a profile sketch and a path sketch. This is true for the sheet metal swept flange feature. Let's begin with our profile sketch first. I will go to the sketch ribbon, select sketch, and we're going to create our profile sketch on the front plane. We're going to have some fun with this. We're going to create a flange. It has a couple bends to it and an arc. We'll place a couple smart dimensions on it. Let's make this 30. We'll also make this 30 by 30. And we'll make this leg here 25. The radius 20. Before we leave the profile sketch, it's important to mention that the profile sketch must be an open profile. If you were to close this profile, the swept flange feature will fail. So there's our profile for the flange. I'm going to close out of the sketch. And now we're going to create a sketch on a plane perpendicular to the front plane. So I'm going to create my path on the top plane. I'll go to the Feature Manager tree, right mouse click on top plane, and begin a new sketch. Let's view normal to the top plane. Zoom out a little bit, and then begin my path. And we'll put an arc in this path, just so you can see how this swept flange feature works, and just how versatile it is. Let me add a couple smart dimensions to it. We'll make this 200 with a radius of 100, and this length here we'll put at 125. And to get it fully defined, let's place an angle of 30 degrees. Now our path is fully defined. Let's close out of the path sketch. We'll go back to an isometric view, and now you see our profile, which has to be open, and then we have our path. This path can be open or closed, but the profile must be open. Now we're ready to go back to the sheet metal ribbon and select the swept flange feature. In the Property Manager, we have Profile and Path windows. It appears that I do have the wrong sketch for the profile, so I'm going to clear the selections, expand the tree, and select Sketch 1 as my profile. And this is Sketch 1. I'll then select the path, which is Sketch 2, and notice the preview of the swept flange. Now there is no need to place any radiuses on that profile sketch because we're in the sheet metal environment, and that's taken care of by the sheet metal feature. Notice we have all of our parameters, thickness, radius, bend allowance, auto relief, just like we did with the other flange commands. We're going to keep the default settings, and close out of the swept flange feature. And just by doing a couple sketches, you can see we created a pretty complex sheet metal flange. Now it's real easy to have fun with this command, get carried away, and design a part that's not manufacturable. So always make sure you flatten the part, and the results that you see in the flattened state is what you expected to see.